You're welcome back, and it's AFEX time now. Let's give you a summary of the last trading week, where we saw mixed performances across key indicators. Turnover rose by 4.98%, closing the week at 7.72 billion naira from 1.60 billion naira in the previous trading week, while number of volumes traded witnessed an increase of 5.59%. Number of deals traded also rose 0.23%. The AFEX Commodities Index witnessed a decline of 0.07%, while the AFEX Export Index maintained a 224.25. Now, the volume of trade is what we're looking at now. The record shows that there was an increase in volume across maize, soybean, paddy rice, sorghum, and cocoa. And there you have the graph right there on the screen. Now let's look at the price of commodities for the week. We begin with paddy rice. We see that it's a green 2.38% up. That's about 50 naira 56 kobo, to close at 2,200 naira for a kilogram of cocoa. That's what we're starting with. Cashew nuts is also in the green 0.77%. That's about 4 naira 52 kobo, to close at 592 naira 72 kobo at the close of trade. Here we see sesame is unchanged, still at 1,247 naira 57 kobo for a kilogram at the close of the trading week. And if we could have the next one, there you have ginger, also unchanged, 989 naira 83 kobo. No movement in that price. Maize is on the flip side, however, lost 11.75%. That's about 44 naira 22 kobo, to close at 317 naira. And then we see paddy rice, we talked about, unchanged at the close of week, 456 naira 13 kobo for a kilogram. And wheat, the almighty wheat, very popular commodities there, unchanged. The price is unchanged at 440 naira. Soybeans also unchanged, 377 naira 88 kobo at the close of the week. All right. So I guess if you want more information, you can go to the website and get more information there. AfricaExchange.com for their website and their social media to get more information, and how you can even participate on this commodities exchange. That's the AFEX Commodities Exchange. It might be a good place for you. After all, everybody have to eat. In spite of the headwinds everywhere, you still have to feed, so it might be a good one for you. But we would hear more about this with Adaize Oleka, Associate Talent Management, joins us virtually now to discuss how AFEX is raising global talent in today's interconnected world and nurturing individuals with the skills, mindset, cultural awareness that is necessary to thrive in these times. Difficult times economically, globally, not just in Nigeria. But Adaize, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So what's the place of talent in building Africa's global market competitiveness, especially at a time like this in the world?
Okay, so if you look at Africa has the youngest population in the world, and 70% of that population are people under the age of 30. And that shows the immense opportunity in terms of human capital and investment in Africa. And if you look at the statistics by the World Bank, there's an estimation that the working population of Africa will grow by 450 million in 2035. And the question we need to ask ourselves as African is, how have we positioned ourselves in a way that we can then maximize that opportunity and utilize the opportunity that we have in Africa? And if you look at this, we need to start looking at how can we look into the future, because the world is changing. With the advancement of robotic, AI, and technology, you could see that certain jobs that are relevant today might be redundant in the future. So the focus should be, what are those set skills, what are those relevant skills that we'll need in the future, and start inculcating them in our educational sector, in our learning institutions, so that we can build an Africa or build a pool of talents that are ready and positioned in a way that they can maximize those opportunities And apart from really focusing on the technical competency, we need to also look at soft skills, right? There's a perception about the African markets, the African product or talents from Africa that, when you're from African, those things should be substituted, right? And have a discount on them. But in reality, it shouldn't be so. So we need to, inculcate soft skills, try to reframe the mind of our young talents so that they can see themselves as equal as their counterparts in the global space. And that's how we position Africa, to have a competitive advantage in the, overall global space.
So how does talent, the talent that we're looking for and talking about, contribute to building a consistent identity on the continent? Because identity also, determines your self-confidence and how you approach things.
Yes, very true. And the answer to that question is in the popular saying that culture feeds or eats strategy for breakfast. And if you look at, it's so important for organizations to have a clear vision or structure for their organization, and as well as having a strong culture, because culture is what brings consistency across all business operations. And how do you then build culture? And how do you bring that strong culture? By defining or having a clear core values, because that stands as the principles and the bedrock of all decision making across all levels in an organization. So if you can get that right and have the right leaders that would be ambassador of those culture, and then you can now cascade that down to the bottom, right? And you create an ecosystem of consistency. So even if you have operations in Kenya, in Uganda, or in different parts of the country or continent rather, you then have a consistent code of conduct, a consistent standard. And this is what brings trust and integrity for your business. And when you have trust and integrity, you then attract the right clients, you tend to attract the right investment for your business, increasing your revenue, and in the long run, also including increasing profitability for your business. And if we, as Africans, start to focus on how can we build strong cultures in our industries, in our businesses, we create an ecosystem of organizations in Africa where they are now seen as trustworthy and having integrity. That way we attract more investment to the African space and also helping creating and improving the economy for Africa.
So, I mean, everybody keeps talking about how the future is in Africa because we have the young talent, we have the young population, we have the skills untapped, even natural resources. But we do have a lot of companies. How do they identify and get on board this, very huge young population, energy, and all of that?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, it's important for every business to have a clear strategy, clear vision and mission for their organization, and also have a strong culture that drives that. But as important as that is, you need to have the right people in your organization to be able to fuel those initiatives and bring them to reality. And that's why recruitment is really important from the inception. How do you select people for certain roles? How clear is the expectation? As much as we always want to look for people that have the right knowledge and skills and ability, we need to also look for people that are culturally fitting to the organization. Because when we miss it at that level, we then bring people that begin to diffuse the culture, and that way you then lead to inconsistency across your business operation and across standards. So what you need to look for is people that are competent and also culturally fitting to your organization. And one thing again, you need to know that the world is, like I mentioned, the world is fast changing, right? And like look at what happened in 2019. We could see that opportunities, companies were able to tap into the opportunities or create solutions within that space and help in that, which helps in improving their revenue. So if companies can now, how companies can achieve that is by having an agile organization. And the only way you can have an agile organization is by having an agile team that are willing or are able and have the capacity to adapt to the changes, be economical, political, or environmental, right? And the only way they can build those competencies is by training them. So company needs to start investing heavily on training their talents so that they can have the right skills that can tap into opportunities in the emerging markets and also provide solutions to us and to problems that we are facing. And I think if we can get it right at that stage, we would create an ecosystem of strong organization that are rewarding and also contributing to the economy of the African continent.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. And well, we'll say, well, more power to AFEX as they continue to search global talent and empower them. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Daisy Oleka, Associate Talent Management with AFEX.